All right, hello again. This is Philip at thebest3d.com, and I'm doing a quick tutorial just to show how to blend multiple images, like two images together into one, but not all over, but rather in some gradient way. For instance, here we see an image where there's really two images. The bottom part came from one image, and the upper part came from another image. And then I turned it also grayscale and did some other stuff to it. But I wanted to show how to combine, for instance, this image with this one, right? Or let's say you have an image like this, and these are exactly the same direction. The camera hasn't moved, the terrain is the same. The only thing different is that the sun may have moved, or the rendering options for transparency on the water, some other parameters like caustics, and so on. So that they will produce different types of results, but the same angle, the same view direction, and so on. So what I like to do is not combine it in such a way that both images all over are merged, but rather containing it or separating it for the bottom part and the upper part. And that's done with the tool filter, combine with swap, mixing with swap. And so you can blend from one image to another. In fact, right now the swap image is showing one. That's very similar. That's why it doesn't look too different. But what we'll do is we'll load this one in the main image. And when we go to combine with swap, that's when you see you can switch from this one to the other. Right? So you basically blend, you say how much you want, 100% or 0% or anything in between from one image. And now what we need to add to that is a gradient, and you do that right here. Right, so with the gradient, the selection grade, the fader tool, the selection fader tool, you're creating a gradient that fades it. So for instance, horizontally or somewhat horizontally, you have a gradient. The selection has the overlay to give you a little purple impression here, and the marching ant to show you the 50% separation of fully enabled to fully disabled, or fully selected, fully deselected. And then you can simply go and enable this and transition um, something like this, right? So what we'll do is we'll do that on the horizontal. Now you can't just do it right now because it already has a mask and it's combining one to the other. So we will do that in this manner. Go from the bottom, go up, and stop around here. So you now have a gradient. Oop, that wasn't good. Let's do Control D to clear that. Let's go from even lower and a little bit closer. You can use the grid pattern here, or the checkerboard, to make sure your rubber band line is going kind of in a vertical line, staying in that same column. All right, so now we have a pretty much vertical gradient of selection mask. You can actually store that selection mask. You can inspect it. You can modify it. With the various selection tools, there is a store selection right here. And so that's, of course, an 8-bit grayscale image that shows a gradient as fully selected here, fully deselected above, and you gradually go there. So why did we do it this way and not reversed in the opposite direction? Well, because what we want to do is now use this mask to fully enable the appearing of the other image, the one that's in the swap image, right, the swap buffer, and only do that in the bottom half. So what I'll do is go to that same filter again, combine with swap, mix with swap, and so now you can do that, but it's allowing it only where the alpha channel is allowing it. All right, so let's go 100%, okay that, then clear the image selection, and now you have that image in the upper area from the first image, and the main image, and then the second image in the bottom showing. And you see a very gradual disappearing of that ground in the water. All right, so that's one way to do that. Of course, that rarely stops there. You can always add some more. Let's say expanding the dynamic range may give you a bit more contrast, adjusting some value, brightness. You might add some contrast. You might want to add some brightness and so on. Also, perhaps even change the hue. You can give it a bit more of a warm look. That's under hue saturation value. Perhaps even reduce the saturation altogether to make it a black and white grayscale image, right? Or increase it to the contrary here and make it a very different image. All right, and that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.